Oh, what's up, smarty people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, KeysDAN Show. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast. It's called What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, some interesting facts. Oh man, culled from interestingfacts.com. I think that's becoming one of my favorite websites, interestingfacts.com. Check them out. They got some interesting facts. And sign up for their daily email drive. Yeah, put your email down there and you'll get some interesting facts in your inbox every day. Today, interesting fact of the day is 8 of the lowest points on the Earth. Interestingfacts.com. Most of the planet's surface is either at or below sea level, which isn't surprising, given that 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by water. In fact, many of the lowest places on Earth are on the surface of lakes. Just how low can you go? How low can you go? Below, explore the planet's 8 lowest points. Number 1. The Salton Sea, California, is minus 236 below sea level. Once a thriving resort community in the mid-20th century, the ever-shrinking Salton Sea has been called the biggest environmental disaster in California history. For decades, local farmers using water from the nearby Colorado River for agricultural purposes allowed the fertilizer-contaminated runoff to flow back into the lake basin. Since the lake basin has no drainage flow, this caused a huge rise in the water's salinity and massive subsequent die-offs of fish and birds, among other wildlife. As a result, the lake began to emit a nasty odor, which drove tourists away. Today, many of the beach towns remain abandoned, although a community of artists linger in the area, and tourism is slowly rebounding. Number 2. Oh my goodness, how am I going to pronounce this one? Akjagaya Depression, Turkmenistan, is minus 266 feet. The Akjagaya Depression is located in the Karakum Desert of Turkmenistan, one of the driest areas in the country. The depression is actually contained within Sarkamiska Lake, the waters of which fluctuate in elevation so much that the lake itself has disappeared and then reappeared several times. The desert is also where you'll find the Darvaza gas crater, also called the Door to Hell, a natural gas field that has been perpetually burning since 1971. Man, I recently heard about this, and here I'm hearing about it again. Oh my goodness! Look into the Door to Hell if you could find some pictures on it. Shoot! I guess I forgot to. There you go. There's a picture of it on the screen if you're watching the video version of this. Let's see. Number 3. Badwater Basin, Death Valley, California. That's 2 in California. Minus 282 feet. Death Valley holds the dual distinction of being the hottest place on the planet and one of the lowest. On July 10th, 1913, a reading of 134.1 degrees Fahrenheit was taken at the desert's Furnace Creek Ranch, which is the hottest air temperature ever recorded on Earth. Extremely hot temperatures aren't unusual in the world's very low places because air warms as it gets lower and cools as it rises. And very low places are common in this part of California. thanks to the San Andreas Fault running beneath it and periodic water breakthroughs from nearby rivers causing erosion. The lowest point in Badwater Basin is actually within an area of salt flats, but the flats can be treacherous to traverse since they are composed of mud covered by a thin crust of salt. Technically, the sign that marks the lowest point is located a few miles east, because they couldn't even get into the basin where the lowest point is. Oh my goodness. Number 4, Laguna de Carbon, Argentina, minus 344 feet. Located within the Great San Julian Depression, Gran Bajo de San Julian, this salt lake is part of Argentina's southernmost Patagonia region. The depression ends in high cliffs before it drops off into the Atlantic Ocean, which lies just to the east. The lake's name translates to Coal Lake, and dinosaur fossils have been found in the Endorheic region, in the Endorheic Basin. There you go. Unlike some other low points in the world, there's not much tourism centered around the site, which sits on a private property and isn't accessible by the public road, although the depression can be viewed from afar from the highway. Mountains loom in the distance, and the small port city of Porto San Julian is about 30 miles east, but until then, there's nothing but salt, scrub, and howling winds to be seen in the lake basin and its surroundings. Whew. Number 5. Danakil Depression, Ethiopia, minus 410 feet. In northeast Ethiopia is another of the hottest places on Earth, and it's home to the planet's 6th lowest point, located in the Danakil Depression, which sits inside the larger Afar Depression, also called the Afar Triangle, created by the convergence of 3 tectonic plates and characterized by active volcanoes, sulfur springs, lava lakes, and toxic gases in the air. Danakil Depression contains one of the Earth's most otherworldly landscapes, often compared to the surface of Venus. Temperatures average in the mid-90s but regularly soar to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Visitors can take tour on camelback to view the colorful neon-toned landscape of oranges, greens, and yellows, which are caused by the oxidized iron and sulfur deposits. However, Ethiopia is still entangled in a civil war as of 2022, and travel from overseas is not currently advised. The Danakil Depression is also the site where the famous Australopithecus fossil known as Lucy was discovered in 1974. Yes, Lucy, the oldest lady in the world. Wasn't that like 10,000 years? I'm going to have to look that one up later. Number 6. Vpadina Kandi, Kazakhstan. Vpadina. How do you not pronounce the V? Maybe it's Padina Kandi. Kazakhstan, minus 433 feet. Padina County is located inside a 25-mile-long karst trench called Karagiye. Karagiye, Karagiye, on the Mangy Slack. Mangy Slack. Let's go with that. Mangyshlak. Mangy Slack Peninsula near the eastern shores of the Caspian Sea, translating to black mouth or black jaw in Turkic. Karagiye was formed when a series of limestone, dolomite, and gypsum caves collapsed. Padina County is the name for the lowest point within the trench, not the trench itself. A seasonal lake lies at the bottom of the trench, as well as a steam originating from human-drilled well that flows back into the hole in the ground. Karagiye, I'm going to keep pronouncing this in several different ways, is known for creating its own unusual rain clouds which rise above it. Snakes, hares, wild mouflon sheep, and yellow Corsic foxes live along the verdant floor inside the trench, while the air above it is home to a population of vultures. Locals also visit the trench to gather mushrooms, the only ones that grow on the Mangislack Peninsula. I got through it. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Number 7. Qattara Depression, Egypt, is minus 435 feet. An elevation of only 2 feet lower than Paduna Kandi. Oh, they wanted me to say that one more time, didn't they? The 7,500 square mile sinkhole in northwestern Egypt near the Mediterranean Sea is famous for its high cliffs and spectacular black sand dunes. First measured by English geologist Dr. John Ball in 1917, the Qattara Depression is about the size of Lake Ontario and comprises wild palm and acacia groves, salt marshes, and dry but occasionally flooded lake beds. The latter are characterized by swaths of sticky mud covered by a salt crust. The sinkhole was formed over millennia as salts in the soil slowly eroded the bedrock into sand, which was blown away by the wind, exposing the water table beneath the bedrock. Qattara means dripping in Arabic, a reference to the not to the mud or flooded lake beds, but a natural spring. Ari El Qattara is one of a handful of natural oases found here. The Qattara Depression is home to fauna such as gazelles, jackals, cheetahs, and wild sheep, as well as cattle, which are bred by nomadic Bedouin ranchers. The Depression was also the scene of a crucial defeat against Axis powers in the First and Second battles of Al-Alamein. Let me try that one more time. Al-Alamein in 1942. Tanks couldn't pass through the swamp, so the British Empire's forces were protected. Number 8. The Dead Sea, Jordan, Israel, and the West Bank, minus 1,412 feet. In the Jordan Valley, the Dead Sea is situated on the mostly north-south geopolitical border that celebrates Jordan and Israel, and the West Bank's southeastern corner also falls within the lake, with shores located at 1,412 feet below sea level. The world's lowest point blows all other contenders out of the water, so to speak. A hypersaline lake, the Dead Sea is 9.6 times saltier than the ocean. Anyone can easily float in the water as a result of its high salt content. As such, it's one of the world's oldest health resorts, patronized even by the biblical Herod the Great. And tourists still flock to its shorelines on all sides. The name the Dead Sea never actually appears in the Bible. However, in Hebrew, it was called Yam Ha-Melech, the Sea of Salt. And in other texts, it was referred to as Ha-Yam Ha-Kadmoni, the Eastern Sea, or Yam Ha-Araba, the Sea of Araba. That's pretty cool. You know, speaking of salt seas, the wife and I have been talking about getting a saltwater pool. I lived in the Florida Keys and, Miami, the Florida Keys. And I remember, going in the salt water is very therapeutic. So I could see how going in the salt sea is therapeutic. So I'm looking forward to getting a saltwater pool put out there in the yard on the KeysDAN estate. Oh my goodness. It's going to feel so good on these old bones of mine. That's 8 of the lowest points on Earth. Have you visited any of them? Hey, drop me some comments if you have, or if you'd like to go. Let me know. Let me know what you know. I'd love to hear from you. For more, stick around. It's KeysDAN Show. Hey, also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast. It's called What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace.